So for the first time ever, today, the price of one Bitcoin just surpassed the price of 1 ounce of gold. So does that mean that Bitcoin is now more valuable than gold? Well, in this video, we're going to answer that question, and we're going to compare both gold and Bitcoin, and I'll even give you some of my price predictions. So let's start by taking a look at this chart that compares the price of gold to the price of Bitcoin. And you'll notice over the past few years, the price of gold has been relatively stable, holding right around $1,200, where the price of Bitcoin has been extremely volatile ever since its inception, but particularly since 2014, where it reached a high of over $1,000. And just last week, the price of Bitcoin reached a new all-time high, and today, for the first time ever, has surpassed the price of gold. And you'll notice that just over the past few years, the price of Bitcoin has come from around $200 to over $1,200. So it has been one of, if not the best performing asset of the past few years. Now, does that mean that Bitcoin is more valuable than gold? Well, the short answer is no. You see, the measurement of one Bitcoin compared to 1 ounce of gold is really arbitrary, meaning it really doesn't matter that much. What matters even more is the total market cap of Bitcoin compared to the total market cap of gold. And if we take a look here at coinmarketcap.com, you can see the market capitalization, meaning the value of all of the coins related to a specific cryptocurrency. And right now, Bitcoin's market cap just crossed over $20 billion, which is significant considering it came from zero. And if we take a look at the total market cap of all cryptocurrencies, you can see that the total market cap is just shy of $24 billion, which, if I do my math correctly, carry the 1 minus 2, that means that the total market cap of all cryptocurrencies in existence is around 1/3 of 1% of the total amount of gold that's already been mined. Now, some people actually look at that as a very bullish signal for Bitcoin, meaning that there is tremendous growth potential. And if we take a look at this tweet from last year, you can see people create these charts where they'll compare and make predictions based on what if scenarios. So what if all gold holders divest 1% into Bitcoin? That would mean that potential value of one Bitcoin could be $3,500. Bitcoin is a completely new asset class. It's a completely new form of money. It's a completely new form and store of wealth. And that's what makes it so volatile. That's why Bitcoin's price has been as low as a few dollars in the past several years, as high as now over $1,200, and has seen some really big swings because people are trying to figure out what the true value of Bitcoin really is. So let's take a look at some of the similarities between gold and Bitcoin. So like gold is physically mined from the ground and it takes real resources to pull gold out of the earth, Bitcoin is set up in a way that it also takes resources to mine Bitcoin. It takes electricity and it takes computing power to mine for Bitcoin. And both gold and Bitcoin are limited in their supply. It's estimated that there's around 171,000 tons of gold on the planet. And there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins in existence. So if we take a look at bitcoinblockhalf.com, you'll notice that the total Bitcoins in circulation is just north of 16 million coins, and those will continue to be released at a decreasing rate until we reach 21 million coins. So with over 77% of Bitcoins already mined, it's deflationary in nature compared to the US dollar, where we seem to be printing at a faster and faster rate. Bitcoins are getting released at a slower and slower rate, therefore putting bullish pressure on the price action. So the pitch for gold and Bitcoin is also very similar. If you ever see the gold bug TV pundits pitching gold on TV, a lot of the times you'll hear them saying the reason to buy gold is, uncertainty in the global financial system, US debt, corruption, inflation, right? A lot of those reasons for owning gold are a lot of the time similar reasons for why you might want to own Bitcoin. And both Bitcoin and gold are meant to serve as a store of value and a medium of exchange, aka money. But there are also some pretty major differences between gold and Bitcoin. Gold on one hand is physical, Bitcoin is digital. Gold has thousands of years of proven history as serving as an asset. Bitcoin, in the span of history, is pretty much brand spanking new. Gold is also very widely accepted, where Bitcoin, as of today, is only used by maybe 10 to 15 million people. So let's compare gold and Bitcoin as money. And I always say money is a little bit like religion in that people will fight to defend their beliefs about money tooth and nail. But I just want to lay this out very practically and objectively and look at it from both sides. Now, I just pulled this slide from a new free course that we launched called Bitcoin Basics: How to Profit in the New Cryptocurrency Economy. And you can actually access that free course in the link below in the description. But I just want to talk about what is money a little bit and what are the properties of money. So the 4 properties of money are this. Number 1 is money needs to be durable, meaning it needs to retain its shape, its form, and its substance over a period of time. That's why you can't use seashells as a really reliable source of money, because they break, or bananas will rot, right? That's why gold doesn't really change its form. It stands the test of time, as does Bitcoin, at least so far. Also, money is divisible, meaning it can be broken down into small parts. Now, this is where gold has a little bit of a challenge. It's not really practical to carry around blocks of gold, and then when you buy a cup of coffee or groceries or a computer, you just chip off gold or you pay with gold coins, right? It's unsafe. It's really just not practical. And that's where Bitcoin is very practical. Bitcoin is divisible down to the 8th decimal point, and you can send Bitcoin in little or big bits around the world fairly quickly and for fairly cheap. The third property of money is that it needs to be transportable, meaning it can be easily moved from one location to another. Again, something else that gold struggles with. And the final property of money means it needs to be non-counterfeitable, meaning you cannot easily duplicate it. And this is where Bitcoin really shines. It was the first digital currency to solve the problem called double spend, meaning prior digital currencies, which have really been around for a couple decades before Bitcoin, they were easily counterfeitable, meaning you could spend the same digital token twice. And because Bitcoin was able to solve that problem first, is one of the many reasons why it became the biggest cryptocurrency to date. So some of the biggest risks with Bitcoin are A, the fact that it's pretty much brand new. It's less than a decade old, where gold has thousands of years of successful history. B, Bitcoin is also highly volatile, which makes it unattractive as a mass used currency, which is why I did this video a few weeks ago when Bitcoin's price crashed from about $1,100 down to $750, and which was another reason why I bought on the dip, and basically explained in that last video why I wasn't freaking out and why you shouldn't sell at the bottom. But Bitcoin is still in its infancy stage. I kind of compare Bitcoin today to AOL from the early 90s. If you remember America Online, it was pretty much the first mass used internet connection, and you used to get these CDs where it gave you like 50 hours of access to the internet for free. I kind of compare Bitcoin to AOL. You know, we're still in the very early stages of Bitcoin, and there are some technical issues still with scaling and block size, and, you know, how can we turn cryptocurrency into a form of money that can be widely accepted? Because as of today, there's really only a few 100,000 transactions per day that are done on the Bitcoin network, which even compared to credit cards is just a small fraction of that. So Bitcoin has a long way to go, but again, we're still very early in the game, which is why so many people are excited about it, why I'm excited about it. And I like to say that I think currency competition is the best thing to happened to capitalism this century. So in my opinion, Bitcoin today serves as a better medium of exchange than gold, where gold has a longer proven history as a store of value. And because the price of one Bitcoin just surpassed the price of 1 ounce of gold, you're going to start to see a lot of public articles like this where the average investor starts to become more and more interested in Bitcoin. And looking at the current price, again, you'll notice that last week, after having the temporary China scare that I told everybody wasn't a huge deal, we started to go through the 7 phases of a trend where the trend picked back up, and then eventually we broke to a new all-time high. And you can see today we actually had another breakout. So we actually have some interesting news coming in the next couple of weeks, which is the SEC's announcement on the Winklevoss Twins ETF. So if this ETF gets approved in the United States, this is going to give a lot more investors access to the Bitcoin markets. And I think there's a lot of anticipation that it's going to pass. If it doesn't, we could see some shaky action in price. But I've been looking for somewhere in between 1,500 to 1,600 within the next few weeks or months. And if we take a look at the past bull trend here, you'll notice that the longer term bull trend has not changed since late 2014. So through 2014, we were in a big bear trend. And then through 2015, price action stabilized and went flat. And then over the past couple of years, you'll notice that Bitcoin has just been in this really beautiful trend where it goes up, has a pullback, stabilizes, goes up, has a pullback, stabilizes. And that's where we're at right now. So should everything go forward with the ETF and there's no unforeseen circumstances, I think it's reasonable to expect 15 to 1,600 in the next few weeks or months. So the question of the day, at current prices, what would you rather own? Bitcoin, gold, or US dollars? Go ahead and answer that in the comment section below. Also, feel free to join our new free Bitcoin basics course to show you how to get started with Bitcoin. And also, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the future episodes. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. I will see you next time.